Warning: this content may be upsetting or disturbing to some audiences. Some tumors can grow teeth, hair, and bone. What is the most disgusting scientific fact you know? After a pregnant woman dies, the gases that form inside of her decomposing body can exert enough pressure to push the baby out. This is called a coffin birth. Antarctic penguins frequently rape their newborn chicks, gang rape other females and males, eat their newborns, rape the corpses of their newborns. Sometimes the same corpse for days on end, and regularly form mobs to assault, rape, kill, and eat other penguins. When penguins get depressed, they kill themselves. If you are really constipated, you could have 10 pounds of poop in your colon. And when you smell my fart, bits that were touching my inner rectum are now touching the inside of your nose. If you have some yogurt, leave a little left and fill the rest with milk, then leave it overnight and you will have more yogurt. When two people kiss, they create a long tube with a butthole at both ends. All creatures are basically tubes where food goes in and poop comes out. Apparently otherwise intelligent people will disregard facts if it goes against their political views. My pastor told me there's no such thing as cognitive dissonance. He says it's a joint operation plot formulated by Al-Qaeda and the homosexuals to destroy freedom and Jesus. Cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias are pretty much responsible for most of today's political issues. Some tumors, known as teratoma, can grow teeth, hair, and bone, and, very rarely, more complex organs or processes such as eyes, torso, and hands, feet, or other limbs. If you're feeling either brave or inquisitive, or both, Google it. Blue whales can have as much as 250 grams of earwax per ear. This forms into plugs that are up to 25 centimeters in length. As they have no means of extracting the earwax, it accumulates over their entire lifetime. The wax secreted is a light color when the whale's diet is high in fat, and darker during the season when the whale is migrating or fasting. It forms alternating layers that can be counted to estimate the age of the whale, just like the rings on a tree stump. Chimpanzees cull the populations of rival clans, by stealing babies and eating them, and sometimes raping the fertile females and leaving them there. But, chimpanzees recognize human babies as very similar. Chimpanzees have been known to raid villages and steal babies, then eat and rape them in the jungle. Just found this quote about our mutual cousins male gorillas, for example, were observed ripping infants out of their mothers' arms and smashing them to the ground in often successful attempts to entice the mothers to mate with them. Just talked to my professor and he said that the females that are left behind will be literally ripped apart by the remaining chimpanzees. Like, their arms and legs are twisted off. That the portion of the brain in humans that is responsible for feelings of disgust goes quiet or is suppressed relative to the rest of the brain when a human becomes sexually aroused. Now you know why disturbing sexual fetishes exist. That explains why after I have an orgasm, the disgust at my own fetish comes rushing back. A 12-inch long hagfish will turn an entire 5-gallon bucket of water into thick slime in 1 minute. Vanilla and raspberry artificial flavorings are extracts from beaver anuses. There is an operation done where they take the poop out of one person and transplant into another person. Fecal bacteria therapy. A friend of mine had this done. I called it his poop injection. He had C. difficile, horrible stomach bug that lurks around hospitals, and was home from work with horrible pain and near constant pooping for months. He had this procedure done, and he said within a few hours, the cramps stopped. A few days later, he didn't have to poop nearly as much, like, 1/4 as much per day. It literally saved his social life, and saved him from being constantly miserable and in pain. Amazingly, I don't think US insurance companies cover this procedure, and the FDA hasn't approved it yet. Belly buttons are usually not washed. Stick your finger in yours and then smell it. One time in middle school my volleyball team figured this out and I happily discovered that mine didn't smell at all. But this one girl with a really deep belly button had the most foul smell coming from her finger after digging around in there for a while. Gross. When a baby girl is born, she can have a menstruation a week or two from the birth due to the fact that the mother's hormones are still in action in her tiny body. Boy and girl babies can lactate, for similar reasons. Dolphins have prehensile penises and can be sexually aggressive towards humans. I read about a study some scientists did, where they put a tracking device on a mannequin and tossed it to a group of dolphins. The dolphins grabbed it with their penises, dragged it underwater to a cave and raped it repeatedly while also violently tearing limbs from it. They're so adorable. They're so adorable. Male giraffes will hit their heads into a female giraffe's crotch to make them pee. Once the female giraffe pees, the male drinks it to test if she's fertile. Also, this part isn't disgusting, but more interesting. Giraffes have such a long gestation period that 90% of giraffe sex is male on male. We are literally covered in bacteria poop. Our facial pores are used as bacteria toilet bowls, and there are also 1,000 species of bacteria in your gut. There's more bacteria in your mouth than people on this planet. Roughly 2 to 3% of your body weight is purely bacterial. You weigh 200 pounds? 6 pounds of that is microorganisms that are not a part of your body. Ladycomb is a mucus lining. You're basically licking and tasting snot. There are probably bits of urine, feces, and possibly blood down there too. You're welcome. If rabbits don't eat their own poop, they will die of starvation because they are evolved from meat eaters rather than plant eaters. They therefore don't have the proper gut structure to make a living off the plant material they consume. So they have to consume it again to extract enough nutrients to live. Gray squirrels are evil. Grays and reds are in a constant war with each other, but the gray squirrels cross the line. They'll sneak into the nests of red squirrels and bite off the balls of the baby males so they can't reproduce. Traumatic insemination. You think rape is bad? Well, it definitely is. But some male insects pierce the abdominal cavities of the female, and inseminate them directly. All bedbugs reproduce in this way, which means this goes on in your bedroom. Also, nematodes, sea slugs, and a species of spider, among other organisms. Nasty. Sufferers of the genetic disease, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, have been known to bite off their lips and fingers. You've been deeper inside your mom than your dad has ever been or will be. You came out of the same place your father ejaculated into to make you. As a baby in your mother's womb, you would drink the amniotic fluid and pee it out, then drink it again. Also, all the shed skin cells you flake off while in utero. The skin cells accumulate into your first poop, called meconium, which is a black, tarry, exceptionally foul-smelling poop that the newborn expels for a day or two after birth. Fun fact, some babies pass meconium while in the womb or vaginal canal. They can sometimes inhale the poop, called meconium aspiration, and it can be very dangerous. However, since it usually treated right away, it mostly just means a course of antibiotics and a slight green staining to the skin for a few days. That's right, a tie-dyed poop baby. The female hyena has a pseudopenis larger than the male's actual penis. That in and of itself is not disgusting. However, female hyenas give birth through it. The large newborn forces its way down the pseudopenis, causing it to tear and burst. Female hyenas will sometimes die during the process, or after when it doesn't heal properly and becomes infected. If you take a human, or any other organism, and infect it with all the species of parasites it could possibly hold, then remove the human tissue, the thing that remains would still be recognizable as a human being. At least a third of all duck sex is forced. Females are constantly evolving ways to not get pregnant from rape. Males are constantly evolving ways around these defenses. All this evolution has given ducks some pretty spectacular genitalia. Flies vomit their stomach fluids over their food to eat it better. So whenever a fly touches your food, it is puking all over it. The #1 hobby of people driving solo is picking their nose. Think about that next time you buy a used car. Brain aneurysms. Like, you can be proactive about a lot of medical conditions that could kill you. But you can also just drop dead at random from a brain glitch. There exists on this planet a predator so perfect that it has not had to evolve in any major way for over 150 million years. It has existed in its current basic design for longer than there has been a human species. They don't even need to hunt, just wait for prey to stupidly blunder into their path, then injects a venom that literally liquefies the internal organs. F you spiders. Whenever I go to the West Coast, I become acutely aware that an earthquake can reduce my surroundings to colorful, on-fire rubble in about 15 seconds. Especially the Pacific Northwest is pretty much done. They are not really prepared for a large earthquake despite living over an active subduction zone. When they get a big one, everything is going to come tumbling down and it will be a big deal. If they get hit with something like the 1906 earthquake, the destruction would be immense. That there is no practical cure for rabies after you go rabid. That's why they give everyone shots if they are bit by a dog. Thanks for listening to Radio TTS. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell for more joyful videos about facts that enlighten your day. Click the right box for the Reddit Facts playlist. And please don't Google teratoma.